them come. This is their fate.
Get my Birdman hands in there. All right. Welcome back to the House of Wolves podcast. I am your host, Deontay. Here are my near and dear friends, Jalen and Josh. Today we got quite a bit to talk about. We got Warner Brothers. I don't know what they thinking, but they said they going head first into more live service games after that successful Suicide Sky launch. Yuzu folded after 3 business days. Yuzu folded. They have now settled with Nintendo, which is crazy to me. Then we also have talking about just PC handhelds and their popularity. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth may be lagging behind Remake when it comes to physical sales in certain regions. And then we also want to talk about No Rest for the Wicked, Persona 3 Reloaded, and anything else that we throw in there. But before we get started, per usual, Jalen, Josh, tell the people how you been, what you've been up to, what you've been doing, how's life going. Talk, what you've been playing, really. Talk to the people.
Yeah. So I'll kick it off and say what's up to y'all, because I feel like it's been a long week. I've been busy between work and stuff, and just with family. Y'all can hear it in my voice. I'm still a little sick from last week.
Ebola.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Something in the weather. I got used to, I guess, not being sick after like COVID. I didn't get sick for like 2 years. I mean, not even the flu. But now, masks are pretty much gone. Everybody back to work, and so I've just been getting a lot sick, a whole lot more. That being said, I feel like I did a lot this week. So last week I told you I was playing Final Fantasy VII, the original on PS1 to catch up for Rebirth.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't finish it. I finished disc 1 a couple days ago. And disc 1 is a lot longer than I thought. But this one actually covers everything from Remake and everything from Rebirth. Is all in disc 1.
Oh, okay.
And so disc 2 and disc 3 I have not touched yet, but I'm probably continue those after I finish Rebirth. I just wanted to have a refresher on like the stuff that's in Rebirth, so that I know what's changed and what's updated. But yeah, I'll say it was about 25 hours for disc 1. They say disc 2 and 3 are not that long, but we'll see. Other than that, I had to go on a journey to actually play Rebirth. I had to get a PS5. So yeah, I sold some of my other systems. Like I sold my Xbox and my old PS4.
Yep.
So that I can,
You had the Pro, right?
Yeah, I had the Pro, and I sold my Series X to get it. Pretty much broke even, which I was happy about, and I got a used fat PS5.
Okay.
If I would have, I never seen the Slim, but I saw the Slim later, and I saw it's actually a lot smaller than I thought.
Oh yeah.
I might have got a Slim if I knew that, but it don't matter. The big one, it works just fine. What I got to say about the system, it's straight. It's an updated PS3. Same menu.
Not a PS3.
It runs well so far. I downloaded my games. I didn't have PlayStation Plus, and I didn't know that you can't download your saves without PlayStation Plus. So
yeah, you need those cloud saves.
Yeah, I still ain't got it yet because I ain't got no reason to play online. I still got PC and everything free to play. So we'll see. But
I wonder how long they usually back it up for. Do they keep it for the longevity of your sign on? I don't really remember. I guess I didn't read their terms and conditions on that.
Yeah, I don't know how long it is, but I feel like it's a decent amount of time, like 2 years, but it could be longer.
Gotcha.
Like 2 years of straight, like no subscriptions. But yeah, check the terms on that. But I'm sure I'll get it at some point. It's just I don't care about the free PlayStation Plus games.
Yeah.
Yeah, the controller is straight. The battery life is trash. It's like 3 hours.
Yep.
The the vibration features are interesting, but so far nothing really uses it, so it's not like a big deal. Like Helldivers has some feedback when you press on the triggers, but it's pretty light.
Okay.
I hear Returnal, I guess, does it a whole lot more, but I don't not much to say about the console other than it's been a smooth experience. I downloaded all my games. At first, some stuff was giving me issues with like the versions being like the PS4 version not working, so
Yeah.
I got to download again the whole game again to
Yeah.
get the
That
PS5
that
version.
that's a real fun time. That was real fun when it first came out. I'm like, bro, why do y'all even have an option to download the PS4 version right on the menu as in download? Like it should automatically go to the PS5, but it's so weird. So, yeah.
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 Uh, yeah. Other than that, booted up Rebirth, and so I didn't play the demo they released like a couple weeks ago, and so the demo section is the whole first chapter of the game, um, minus a few like new stuff that they added that's in between, but y'all see that when y'all play it.
Okay.
Uh, but all I got to say about the demo area is that I enjoyed it. I'll say the best part about the directing, like as far as like the camera and the character acting and stuff. Because I
Okay.
already know the story, so I know what they're doing. But they're like if you know the story or if you play Crisis Core, everything in the demo they have a lot of like subtle hints with the camera, like who is pointing to and who is talking. That like I guess tells you more about what's going on in the story. And if you know about Crisis Core and stuff, then it's a lot more obvious.
Okay.
But I enjoyed the demo area and then moved on to the full game. And I thought y'all played it, because I was gonna, I guess, I thought I was gonna be the negative one,
Oh.
because I enjoy the game. I like all the characters. I like the cutscenes, um, but the game doesn't feel as impressive as
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Hold on, Chi. Hold on, Chi. Let Jalen talk about what he did, and let's get back to that. Let's pencil that because I don't want you to put that right there on the front top of the pile. Like, yeah. This game sucks. All right, Jalen, tell me what you've
Go
been
ahead,
up
Jalen.
to, what you've been playing. And let's keep it positive for a few minutes. Go ahead, Jalen.
Yeah, so yeah, just carrying on what Josh has said. I was trying to see if y'all had nah, just like nah, that'd have been great. I ain't been doing nothing, man. I just been same old, same old. I had just went to Seattle. Um, First time did a little solo trip or whatever. So it was like, I got this shake Microsoft and Nintendo hands. I'm like, man, I got my boy over here. He love y'all. He can't get enough. And I got my other boy. He love y'all. He can't get enough of y'all too. I don't know. I don't care for
Yeah,
none one of y'all.
whatever.
Just so no, I had did that. I actually got to see like I didn't. They was closed because it was on a weekend, but I got to actually see their campus and kind of like walk around and stuff. I meant to send you. I'm like, man, they got hoop courts at Nintendo. They got goalies like soccer and all that type of stuff over there. So I'm like, all right, like that's where y'all got y'all Mario Hoop 3v3. Nah, just but no, other than that, I mean, I had did that. That was smooth. Um, just taking things day by day. It's a new month, so we it's the third month of the year, so y'all like Deontay say, take it 1 month at a time. That's what I've been trying to do. Games, I haven't really been playing anything. I said I was gonna cop Final Fantasy, contrary to what I said at the beginning. I actually didn't play the game yet. I just played the demo. But I said I'm gonna get. I just haven't actually made time to get to the store because I was out of town and stuff like that. So that, and then but the only game I have been playing is like a ROM hack of like Pokemon. I guess you can say Pokemon like Black and White. It's
Okay.
called like Reunion. I think they did a pretty good job. And basically, the game take place after Red loses to Gold. So Red goes through the Indigo Plateau. He's at Mount Silver and everything, and then Gold comes up there after he go through the Johto League, and then he challenges Red and he beats Red. So the game is taking place after Red returns home and stuff like that, and they got like different teams and it's dialogue heavy. So I'm trying to see what it is. I haven't made it too far into the game. I've probably been playing it for like an hour, but I'd say it's kind of interesting to say the least. And I do give them a lot of credit because they went above and beyond with the overworld and stuff like that. And like
Mm-hmm.
it's like the lanterns, like a light post, like a little lantern street light. It's like you can see it filtering down onto the ground and stuff like that. And then you got like Pokemon flying through the sky. They got Pokemon in the overworld just kind of like chilling and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of see what it's like, and I think it got all 9 generations and stuff. But it's like I said, it's interesting to say the least. I'm at least give it a little bit of time. And it's not just like a basic ROM hack. It's a lot of stuff that they put in, I guess, because it runs off as an executable file. Like it's not like a DS ROM that you just boot up or like a GBA ROM and stuff. It's actually like its own executable file, and it's kind of big. I think it's like 2 gigs. So,
Nice.
um,
Mhm.
yeah. So I'm just trying to net out and see what that is. But other than that, man, I mean, I ain't been doing too much. So, yeah, talk to Beyonce. So.
Okay.
And then we got that Japan trip coming up. I mean, planning for that, and that's about it. So,
Mm. Yeah. Um. Well, I haven't really been doing much outside of playing Persona. I beat it, and I only got like 2 achievements left, and it's like what I ended
You
up
did what?
doing. I
Mhm.
um I ended up playing for like 40 hours, and then I looked up 100 guy, and I was like able to keep up with him. I was playing it in the right way enough,
Yeah,
but I couldn't get one social link to full
max.
level 10, and then it was I didn't pick up all the Twilight fragments in the town, so that was it. So
Okay.
everything else I did though. Um, but yeah, that was my extent of my week. It was kind of playing Persona. Uh,
Did you, you finished it. Did you have any feelings from last week? Because last week I was saying you were enjoying it, but it was like you know I guess dragging or not much going on.
um, no, it wasn't that. It wasn't. I enjoyed it. I felt like the story was good. At least up once it like came to a head or the actual climax of it and everything. I felt like there was something that I was like, this is weird. And maybe because I was playing in the full thing, I saw stuff that maybe I wouldn't have saw on my first go around. So maybe some things would have had more impact, i.e. some deaths. But uh but yeah, I mean, outside of that, I think the story in itself was good. I think it had a lot of uh I guess emotional impact because it was just like dealing with a certain thing that you just couldn't avoid. So I just felt like it was really good in that way.
Yeah,
Uh
I think a lot of the social links in the Persona games, everybody got their own issues, but in
yeah.
three, a lot of them, or at least the ones I remember, revolve around like more, I guess, depressing stuff.
Yeah.
Like my favorite one is like the sick guy, and it's just like it
Yeah.
maybe can't actually help them, but you kind of just like really getting to know this person and making them feel kind of like at peace. Um,
Yeah.
and I think that overall, that's kind of the vibe that the whole story is going for, in
Yeah.
which it is unique about it. And whereas a lot of the other games kind of get not more lighthearted, but they tend to aim for like more positive like outcomes.
Yeah. For sure. And that's what I felt when I was playing it, and they did a really good job with the episodes. Like this was new stuff, I guess. Um and to learn more about your team.
Oh
And
yeah,
yeah, I feel like they really did a really good job with those. Because they were impactful and some of the most memorable parts for me anyway.
Hmm.
Um, so I felt like if they were making changes and I didn't know that, I probably would have been felt like I missed something if I didn't have that the first time around. So it is impactful that of the changes that they made. I read online that Tartarus is a little bit different. You can like get your health and stuff like that. They had made some changes with the clock, um, and stuff like that to make it more simple, but at the same time, um, it was fun and challenging in its own way. I didn't really have any difficulty because I was probably playing on normal and I was playing it in a way that you probably should be on like a harder difficulty to play and to have like a real challenge. I didn't run into anything significant, but um it was I could tell where there was like, okay, if I didn't do this almost 25 times or keep running through Tartarus a bunch of times, I probably would have got cooked right here, but I didn't because it was stuff that I'm looking at stuff, I'm understanding how the game works, and I'm mid maxing a lot of things, and it wasn't like difficult. It wasn't like I was doing something super extra. It was just more so I was understanding as things were going on what made more sense. I was holding on to my instances, and I was just stacking them on certain characters that I really enjoyed, and I wouldn't change the character or like the persona. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then it was certain things that I would like. Okay, I found this persona that nullifies this and drains this and can get health back with this, and I just I'd be switching to them and understanding what these bosses or something could do. I barely used old girl. I don't remember her name. Fusa. What's her name? Fusa? No. What is her name? The girl that does the analysis.
Oh, Fuka.
Fuka. I said Fusa. Fuka. Um. But yeah, and that's how bad my memory is. I'm old. I just
Nah,
played
that
that
game
game
has
last
some
week.
hard names to remember, but I ain't gonna cap. I still don't know everybody's name because they be using their last name or their surname and they be using their
Yeah,
first name, and
and
they be
like
Yeah, I don't
switching
know why they
interchangeably.
changed that. That's something that they changed because they did it in 5, where you call everybody their last name, and so in
bro,
3 they switched it.
I was like, bro, who
Well,
is Amada? And then it was Ken, and I was like, bro, why y'all calling him Amada? Like I don't
yeah, sometimes
understand
they
that.
call them both. They like
I
I be like,
know.
which one
It
is
is
it? Is
stupid.
it
I'm like, bro, I gotta go look up who this last person name Amada who. I said Amada, Persona 3. That's Ken, cuz.
yeah,
I don't understand.
they be
I was
like they
so
go
annoyed
Iori.
when that happened. I
You be
was
like
so
Iori.
annoyed.
Then Junpei answer you be like, oh, your last name is Inori, or is that your first name and your last name Junpei? I don't know, but both of the names pertain to you. I'm gonna remember that. Takeba-san. I'll be like, who? Like, we met them?
Yeah,
That's
they do
you. I
that.
didn't know that. Like,
Yeah, they do that often. Gee, I had to learn their whole names for sure, just to get through that game because they like stated in a brief conversation. I'm like, who are they talking about? And then I have to go like I had to remember. So, but no, I would can say that Persona 3 at least had memorable moments.
Mhm.
I'm not saying every character was great, but I felt like most characters had significant weight. It made sense to be in that in the game. Because sometimes you just be like, I don't even know why you're in here. So I didn't feel like any of my main people were like felt like that. There were some links that I was like, yeah, they just tossed that one in there just because. But everything mostly felt like it had a place, and um, the social links did have the episodes had more weight, Jalen, if you do them because they do give you extra benefits in fights for those individuals that you are. Because they don't like the people around you don't have most of them don't have you. All the girls do, for obvious reasons. But all the males don't have like social links. So it's most of the time you're just doing
you talking
things
about
with
your home,
them.
your folks.
Yeah, my folks, the folks,
Yeah.
that they just get stuff based off you hanging out with them doing their episodes when they had those little two exclamation points over their head. Uh, but yeah, so I like the game. I think I didn't think I didn't want to get to it right now, but I definitely did like the Persona 3, and it made me want to go back and finish 5 because I just gave up on that game for a multitude of reasons. But it did make me want to go, okay, I can buy it again because I played it on the PlayStation 5. I can, send it through remote play and finish it. But right now, I think I'm gonna play Final Fantasy and go from there. But yeah, I definitely did enjoy it. But outside of that, I've been playing my Legion Go a lot, trying to get very accustomed to it, setting it up, making it more console-like, understanding all the kinks, the quirks, the downfalls, the triumphs. I think the screen is immaculate. I think the performance is immaculate. I really wouldn't need much more performance. Um, Honestly, I would just need refinements on around and on things that I found that are lacking. But performance wise, I feel like this thing, like I'm running Liza P and it looks like console quality. That's crazy to me on a handheld. It's because of FSR3, obviously, because these types of techniques that we're using to upscale from lower resolutions, and you can still run high fidelity, high graphics settings with that because of FSR3. So I know as those types of AI and all that implementation starts to come more of a custom, it's going to just be better for those older hardwares that can take advantage. Now, the scary part about this is it only has 16 gigs of RAM, and I really think we're at a point now where everything needs like 32. So we'll see how long the longevity behind that, because when the AI stuff comes, you gotta kick in and you gotta use all that stuff. That's just gonna eat it up. But we'll see. Right now, great for emulation, great for standard gaming. I beat Persona 3 on this thing, and I'm gonna probably play a lot of Final Fantasy on it. So, yeah, I like it. It's a great device. What else? What else? What else? That's about it. I'm gonna talk more about it a little bit later. But let's move into our very first topic, and let's keep it on. Let's keep it on Final Fantasy, since we're already here. And John, let's talk
Sorry, put the
about.
seal on it.
No. We're gonna talk. We're gonna. It's bad news on top of bad. But what I will say about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the production looks really good in regards to, as you stated, the cutscenes. They definitely look like they did a better job with some of the artwork, or at least the character models themselves, the lighting, everything looks like a little bit above previous remake. I also want to just give it some more kudos for simply just not. I don't think I've heard someone say they ruined the story. So reimagining something and still doing it well is a great to me. I really like that because it tells me that you were very. It wasn't It didn't lose its artistic or its vision. It just more so was a revamp for the right reasons, and I think that always trumps someone doing it for the wrong. So kudos to Square for at least trying to remake this beloved series in a way that is more approachable for us casuals like myself. But we still have some topics we wanted to talk about, and one of those was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth sales may be lagging behind remake. And there could be a multitude of reasons, and these are very much so my thoughts on why. A lot of people are saying that basically a lot of people are just saying that it's the well, not a lot of people. This is what people is being reported, that the UK physical sales are down 30% based off of Remake. That is a significant drop off, especially for a sequel that you tend to expect to have the buy-in of the people that previously bought plus more. But it always doesn't work like that. Everybody doesn't have a PS5. That game came out on the PS4 when the base was like, I think it was well above what it is now.
More than 100 million.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the life.
Yeah. So that tells me that you're obviously going to take a hit up front. And it's to be expected when people don't have this console. It does this I guess this does add a lot more fuel to the fire in regards to exclusivity and the importance of it, because there is a lot of reasons why I haven't picked it up yet. One is the performance mode. 60 FPS is important to me to some degree, and I feel like it's not of the quality that I would normally get from a Sony exclusive. So I just feel like I'm waiting on a patch to fix that, when really I should just be playing the game and enjoying it, because it should have came out in a state that was ready. Like all the bigger heavy hitters. I'm sorry, but if you're going to put it in that ilk, you need to kind of deliver. It did not, unfortunately. So I'm not saying that the 30 FPS graphics mode is not bad. It's just that you expect something and you're looking forward to something and you can't get it. It's like, Now I already kind of committed to playing it in 30 FPS, so that's what I will do. But it's a deterrent. It's not like I'm racing out to get it. I think I'm in the same boat as Jalen. I'm just gonna get it when I can actually play it. But on top of that, it's also bad for business. Like, this game could definitely have come out same day as PC. And I think we all would have had a better experience, or at least the people that could have a better experience would have had a better experience. And you probably would have got more sales. You probably would have had more significant, because obviously the PC has a player base of, I don't know, billions. It's up there. It's up there in regards to how many count. I guess we have to look at GPUs that can actually run the game, but there is plenty of more of an install base compared to a single console. So
it's a big untapped market, and people will buy it.
Yeah, I just think that there's value in not being that exclusive. I understand they got paid for it. I just hope it was enough. Obviously, they're going to still be able to make those sales at some time later down the line, but at that point, you really missed a window of opportunity for where people are expecting and wanting to play. That fear of missing out is in full effect. At that point, once you're 4 days, 5 days out, it's even tough to make people wait, a month. Like, if you literally put this out in the end of December, it still would negatively impact the sales or potential that you could have recouped. So it's not like people don't wait. I'm just saying that there's some people that wait and then they don't buy because they just don't care at that point. It's already been out long enough. What's the point of what's wrong with waiting a little bit more for it to drop in price, to go into deep discount, to never play? Like, nobody. Sometimes that is the decision process, and that is a valuable part of marketing. All that stuff is valuable. It's valuable to incentivize people to play immediately once your game come out, and not at a later time. So with this performance mode being weak, with the install base of the PS5 being low, this is all deterrent to actually want to play the game day one. So I'm just telling you like it is, not like it ain't. And obviously, even if you do get the opportunity to play it, you might also still have problems. So, Josh, tell us what's going on. What is the dealio with the dealio? What is the deal with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and today's day and age?
Yeah, I think it's partly gonna be on expectations. Like the first game, it came out, and I think it was pretty positively across the board. People liked it. It
Mm-hmm.
looked good. It took the story in new directions, but they did a good job of updating the old stuff. So it set the standard for what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
And going into this one, I guess you have high expectations to be an improvement over what came before, and just so far, I feel like it is an improvement in some ways. Like the combat, you have all five characters available. Well, there might be more characters later, but in the beginning, you have all five characters available at the start, and you can switch out your party real quickly. Like you don't even gotta pause; you can just press on the D-pad and switch between your party members. Um,
Nice.
well, switch like a loadout. So you have
Oh,
your three
okay.
characters, and you switch loadouts, and you got your other characters in the party. So that's cool. It gives you a lot more variety of what you can do in the combat and things like that. Um,
Kind of like Tales of
but,
Arise you're talking about, maybe?
well, I haven't played Tales of Arise, but yeah, you can set
Oh,
up your party. You got Cloud, you got Tifa, you got Barrett, and you save their loadout, and then you switch to
gotcha.
your second loadout right on the fly. Not in combat, but outside of combat, you can switch to your second loadout, and it'll bring in Tifa and Red 13 instead of Barrett or whatever.
Gotcha,
Um,
gotcha. Okay.
so it's improvements on the combat. It's open world now. The first game was very linear in a lot of areas, and now this is open world. It still has some linear like dungeons, but you can explore. They give you a chocobo pretty early, so you can ride
Chocobo.
very fast. So you ain't gotta walk slowly everywhere. Fast travel is pretty easy as well. That being said, overall, the feeling I've been having is that I enjoy it, but a lot of I got like 12 hours in the game. And what I'll say is the first 12 hours of remake I loved, whereas like the 12 hours that I played so far, it's been good. Some stuff I like, some stuff I don't like. I'll start with the graphics, I guess. That's kind of been a big sticking point where I don't think the graphics they look okay, but I don't get the impression that they really improved a lot. Even though I know that they probably technically did, but it doesn't feel like
Oh.
because it's open world. So if you think about the linear areas of the first game, it was a lot smaller, but they all look very like high quality.
Right.
Minus a few texture issues that they had, but eventually they fixed that with like the re-release. But right now, if you were to play the PS5 version of Remake, I think it looks very good in those areas. And you switch to this game, and the characters themselves have been improved, but the environments don't feel like they've been improved because they're bigger, so everything is stretched more thin. Plus
Yeah.
the graphics issues that you mentioned, like the performance mode, it has low resolution, like scaling, whatever it's doing, and also like Digital Founders point out, like the effects and post processing are also low resolution, so it makes it look very muddy and blurry in the performance mode. And personally,
Mm.
I wanted to play the performance mode. That's why I was playing for a long time, and it was straight because like explore the open world, and it's a little bit muddy, but it's also like very big, so it's not like a whole lot of details in the background that I need to see.
Okay.
But then I got to like a internal area in this cave, and it's very dark, and just like the combination of it's dark, it's a lot of like small lights in the background that cause bloom, and it just made it very hard to see. Like I can't see anything, so I switched it to the quality mode. The quality mode runs fine. It looks better, high resolution, not as blurry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. The problem with the quality mode is that I don't see, other than the blurriness, I don't see any difference. Like the textures might
Oh.
technically be better. The but I don't I don't feel like it's a big jump. It's just we have the resolution, and now it's not blurry. Um, So, anyways, the technical issues have been a headache. Um, Hopefully, some of those can be smoothed out. It seems to be issues with just Unreal Engine 4 games in general. because it's not using Unreal Engine 5 features, it's just Unreal Engine 4.
Mhm.
So that's one reason I'm looking forward to PC, because people will be able to like backport some Unreal 5 features into 4. But then I can get on the issues that I actually got with the game itself, the gameplay. Um, the open world is cool. There's stuff to do. I was exploring. I don't know how much I want to 100% the open world stuff, and that's kind of because it has small irritations in it. Like every time
Mhm.
you get a point of interest, let's say it's a rock you're gonna examine. It's gonna give you an item. Chatly, the um the VR, like the little VR boy from the first game, he got on white coat, white hair. You talk to him and you fight the VR battles. Every time you get to a point of interest, he calls you on the phone. He's like, "Hey, Cloud, this is that point of interest I told you about," and then hang up. It's like, okay, you wasting 5 to 10 seconds every single time I find a point of interest, and it's hundreds of point of interest on this map, and you gonna call me every single time just to remind me that the thing that I'm about to grab is the thing that you told me to grab. Like I know that, and there's no way to like get rid of it. Sometimes like you climb the Ubisoft towers and act the thing that's
Mhm.
normal. Then it plays like a 20-second cutscene. You can skip it, but you gotta wait like a couple seconds, like 5 seconds for the cutscene to load and stuff, and then press start and then skip, and then it has a loading screen after the cutscene. So it's like it still takes 10 seconds, even though I'm skipping this cutscene to do the Ubisoft Tower payment. So I feel like the open world. My issue with the open world is that it's fine,
Mhm.
but it's not a innovative or a really good version of the open world. Kind
Experience
of.
is just more
Yeah,
so.
like this is a standard open world experience, but it's not a
Mm,
Ghost of Tsushima where it's like, oh, I love exploring, or
yeah.
game that take and like reinvent it, and like, or like Breath of the Wild, where it's like it's not that you play this type of open world, um, and it's fine. If you're not tired of open world stuff, you might play more of it. If you're tired of open world stuff, then it's gonna only irritate you, so you're gonna want to kind of skip it. But it is still good stuff in the open world. Like you get a lot of upgrades for your team and your party and summons and stuff like that. So you want
Mhm.
to, or you don't want to just ignore it. But it just depends. Like if this game it seems big, I look at the map and it seems very big. So I hope the open world is not a drag. And then I guess the last negative thing I'll say is it's not. I don't think this one is objective. It's going to be subjective. I think the combat is it's a lot more improved. It has a lot more abilities and features and combo attacks and team attacks and all that stuff. But I like the combat from the first game more because it was more simple and slower paced. The combat in this one a lot of times will just feel like
Devil
more
May
slow.
Cry.
Not even like Devil May Cry, because since you got all your teammates, like
Mhm.
Cloud, his abilities, you're flashy, you dodging, you blocking and stuff like that. But if you hold R1, you'll do team attacks with, Barrett and Tifa. They'll jump in, they'll attack with you. But you also got your ATB stuff, so you throw fireballs and you use your other attacks. And so it's just so much going on at the screen at all times that everybody's attacking and jumping off each other. And Cloud's gonna throw Tifa, and she's gonna black flip and kick like 4 enemies. It's a lot more flashy and fast paced and chaotic, but it doesn't
Mhm.
feel as like focused as the first game, which I think a lot of people are gonna feel maybe not agree with that. Like maybe they like that aspect of it,
Right.
but I like the first game where it felt like very deliberate. Where I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna block this. I'm gonna use this ability because if it's difficult, I need to take my time and think about it. If it's easy, I can go a little bit faster and flashy. Whereas this game, it feels like just super fast and chaotic and stuff. And the reason I pointed out is because I played the Integrate like 2 weeks ago, and I feel like Integrate had like a hybrid where it's the old system but with new stuff, and I personally like the Integrate version more. But
That's what I like too. I actually did like the the feel of that one because I feel like they kind of meshed it all together very well, like the tactical, stop time, to see
mhm.
and then kind of mixing in all the action packed. And I was like, if they gonna do a system, do this again. That's what I was hoping that they just do it again and not like
Yeah,
change that. I thought they were gonna just make the story better because I don't really want them to change the gameplay because that's what kept me around. So that's a little concerning. I'm not gonna
it's
lie.
still yeah. I mean, but y'all played some of the demo, so it just doesn't feel. Once you get like three party members, you'll see what I mean. Where like everybody is doing so much at the same time, and it one, especially if you're playing in 30 FPS, it's kind of hard to see what's going on. So that's why I
Mm-hmm.
was playing it at 60 because like like everybody is doing like 5-10 attacks every 5 second. It feels like um it's hard to understand. And I guess maybe I haven't fully played it, but the R1 button is the synergy attacks. So you hold R1 and you play in this cloud, and one of your teammates will jump in with you. The thing about that, there is no cooldown on that. So you can do an attack with Cloud, press R1, and then have Tifa jump in, and Cloud will throw Tifa, and she'll do like an uppercut, and then you can do it again, and then you can do it again, and you can do it again, and Tifa will literally teleport from wherever she's at on the other side of the room to where you are to do the team attack. So it's like um, it's weird with how that works because like in the first game, if the enemy's doing like a big laser, you want everybody to get out the way. Like Cloud will run, and maybe your AI teammates they might get hit, and that's something you got to think about. Whereas like now, you kind of can like cheat the system and teleport Tifa to you to get her out of the thing range if you like time it right. So it's just weird stuff like that. It's more chaotic and more flashy, so maybe it's more fun, but it's less like I feel like it's less tactical for me. So that's just my preference. But I'm still early in the game. It might change. They got a big upgrade tree, so my feelings might be different later. But yeah, that's all. But what I can say is I still love the characters and the story so far, so that's what I'm most interested in, but I was just hoping that this game would be a clear leap over the first game. But now it's gonna be kind of at best it might be equal, or at worst it might be, I like the first game more, and then this one I might not like it as much, but it's still good. So yeah.
Mm. What about you, Jalen? What did you like more? Did you like the system in Final Fantasy remake, or did you like it more steered towards uh
Um,
I guess the only thing because I don't even think you like 16 like that like I did. I don't know if you played it or like that a lot, but that system to me was really bad, but uh
yeah, I ain't really like that system like that. If I'm being honest with you, it
okay.
was cool, but I mean, it wasn't. It was a step back compared to what you call it. If you comparing it to like Final Fantasy Seven, then or Final Fantasy Seven remake, then you got Final Fantasy 16. I definitely enjoy remake a lot more. Obviously, it's a lot more involvement with the party and stuff like that. So they got its pros. Um, and then just all that type of stuff. Even the active time battle, I just felt like 16 was just like a hack and slash. I guess I don't know. I just didn't feel like it was nothing in depth. I feel like 7 had way more in depth. Like you had a whole ATB gauge. I feel like 16 you just keep slashing until you get your little phoenix thing. Then you use that and you keep hitting square and then hit triangle. Like it was a lot of that versus 7 is all those things that Josh had mentioned. But to your original question, how I feel about the game, the system, all that type of stuff. To be honest with you, I didn't notice a difference between. You just got done playing Intergrade, Josh. So I mean, you probably got it more up to date in your head. In my head, when I was playing, I felt like it was pretty identical, but I ain't played, part one since 2020, so I didn't feel like it was
Yeah.
what you call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't
And
feel
like
like
I
it was
said, I
way
think
different.
it might not be y'all might not have the same feeling. But I feel like this is a situation where you play a game like I'm just use Kingdom Hearts for example, but like you play Kingdom Hearts 2 and you get used to the combat in 2, and then you move on to 3. And then 3 is technically, we took that combat and we added 50,000 things to it, and so it's just better and faster. But with them adding so much to it, I feel like you might feel like it kind of like dilutes what was good about the first one. Even though technically the second one has more features. So, like that being said, after I finish this game, it might have so many features that I enjoy that I can't go back to the first game and feel like I'm missing something. But so
Mm-hmm.
far, early on, once you get your full party and you're out in the open world, the fights will feel like chaotic. Where I feel like in the first game, from the very first battle, you felt like you were doing action oriented stuff and cool, but you still had to like stop and think, which attack am I going to use? Am I going to heal right now? Am I going to do this or things like that? Whereas this is just like full, like just go and do whatever. And I will mention I'm playing on the hardest difficulty that's available, which is called dynamic.
Oh,
So like supposedly how good you're doing, the game will increase or decrease difficulty or whatever. I don't know how that's factored into it. So far, I've only died once against a boss, um, but it doesn't feel uh, that hard. It just feels like go in there, do a bunch of damage, throw out your heals, and then keep going. But that's I gotta wait for y'all impressions.
yeah, which should be coming by next week. More than likely, I just got to give it the shot. There. I mean, it's not a shot really. I know I'm gonna like it. I just got to know how much I'm gonna like it. It's not. It's not a. It's not like a. It's not starting at a 0 for me. It's like probably starting at like 70. So it depends on if it's gonna be a 70 or if it's gonna be a 90 or 100. So I see. Once I play it. But I really think as long as they kind of kept to the story beats and they kind of uh emphasized the connections, and then hopefully the gameplay still be remaining solid in a way that I appreciate. I think they got a winner anyway. It just depends on how
Yeah,
big of a winner it will
I was about
be.
to say, I, I'm done with my impressions, but I was gonna say, watch out for spoilers because the game been out for a while. It's gonna enter spoiler territory.
Mm-hmm.
Like IGN had an article today. I didn't read it, but I know what it's about, and they're talking about the ending. I think IGN gave it like a 9 or something like that. But whoever
Oh,
wrote this article is like, oh, this ending, they failed the ending compared to the original. And if you know the ending, if you know what part they're talking about, because it's an important part, like in the middle of the game, it's a big spoiler. So I guess don't look at any ending stuff to this game. Um,
nah. And most
whether
of the
whether
time,
it's
I
good or
ignore
bad.
those. Yeah.
Yeah. So far, I've only heard positive stuff, but maybe there might be some controversy about the ending. But I'm just avoiding that stuff for now.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, let's move on. Let's move on because we are 48 minutes in, and all we talked about was Final Fantasy. Let's move on to Nintendo. Nintendo got their big brother. Big brother came, and they got 2.4 million out of him. And they got him to shut it down immediately. Not immediately. So it was like, in I guess in a matter of what 4 days. I think it was like 4 days. I think they received the notice on the 28th or the 29th, and by the third it was down. And now I'm pretty sure it was pretty fast. I'm pretty sure it was like 3 days. It wasn't long. Um, and this was posted March 4th. So yeah. Yeah. They got out of there quickly, man. What do y'all think? To me, if they were doing something wrong, um, yeah. I mean, it is what it is. If they actually infringed on their intellectual property, if I have to be a lawyer about it, then fine. But I just don't feel like emulation is illegal. But this is what this sounds like to me. because not only is this a win for Nintendo, it's a win for everyone that's against emulation. I mean, obviously, the piracy is supposed to be the main focus, but emulation is really what's getting hit here. Um, what do y'all feel about? How do y'all feel about emulation taking this hit right now? Like, where do y'all stand? I guess on that.
I mean, you know,
I mean, nah, go ahead.
You can go ahead, Jayla.
I mean, like, I suppose. Okay, so first off, emulation is legal. I mean, you're supposed to. It's supposed to be a method for people who own the game. You know, they got. You know, they can dump their files and they can play the game like on a different platform or whatever you will.
Or emulate it. Yeah,
I
emulate it. Mm-hmm.
yeah, emulator. Yeah. And I mean, they come with their flaws too. It ain't like people just taking something and is, or not even taking. They just dumping their files. They got to work around other things, and I feel like that gives people grounds to kind of explore things like hobbies. And these are probably some of the people that they might, hire to do these things. You know what I mean? Because they kind of good at it. And then on top of that,
And
it
Nintendo
keeps
uses emulators. Like
you.
they
You said
they
what?
use it. They
They use emulators and
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Nintendo
yeah.
themselves.
Everybody, yeah.
they're not made by Nintendo. They're made by other companies, and we will license your software to play our stuff on the Switch.
Yeah,
Yep.
so I mean, just taking all those things into consideration, you like, all right, man. It stunts the growth of like the community, like the gaming community as a whole. And then on top of that, so you got the social aspect, how people looking at Nintendo, for example. It stunts the growth. And then the other key factor is that some of the emulation community keeps some of these games alive. I mean, look how long Left 4 Dead been like relevant for. You know what I mean? People can still find enjoyment out of these games. And when you do stuff like Sony and Nintendo, when they don't give backwards compatibility and won't let you have access to a game, it becomes a problem because I'm like, I mean, the Switch thing, all right, the Switch was still, still technically alive or whatever, but people can still enjoy y'all games and keep the game alive and give inspiration, new ideas because like of these emulation and the effort that people put in. Some of these people doing it for free, but I mean, I know I heard with Yuzu and stuff, they have like a Patreon and guides and
For the
all that
early
type of stuff with
access,
it's
yeah.
crossing red tape and stuff like that, or the red
Mm-hmm.
line. But that's my feeling about like emulation and stuff like that. Ultimately, it keep the game alive. I think that's the biggest thing as a consumer that I care about. Progressing the gaming community, this, that, and the third. That's not something I'm gonna see directly, but keeping the game alive is something I'm gonna see more readily. So that's how I feel about emulation. I mean, I think it's a great thing personally, and I think people are very talented, as I had mentioned about the Pokemon Reunion game. I'm like, y'all making these ROM hacks and emulation, all this type of stuff, and making it possible to play these games that's better than the ones that people make. Granted, they not making it from the ground up, but they put in new ideas that can definitely be implemented and give into the devs can take that, like, not steal it, but you know what I mean, give inspiration.
Yeah, inspiration.
Yeah, so
I guess you're looking at it from the more artistic. I'm looking at it from more of a preservation. I feel like Nintendo doesn't support their back catalog like the emulations community does. Like, if we want to be able to play and support our games, or even like just play our games, like basically play our games for a very long time, like there's no way in the world for me. I feel like a Nintendo 64 cartridge that I bought back in 1990. I don't know what, 4. Um, and if I bought that technology wasn't going to die out, or that system that I purchased wasn't going to die out. But at the time of purchasing that console or that system, I expect my junk to last forever. I don't really want to have a dying age or a age out factor come along with the type of software and things like that. I feel like software is just in a different space. It always should have been, and that these types of things should have the legs of to last a time. It's like somebody saying that a book that you like that, like, to me, that's, I feel like it's just a way of protecting from damage. Like, if you purchased a book back in, I don't know, when you I'm talking about passed on from generation to generation, that book is still going to be able to be read as long as the language in English is still legible. That book will still be able to be read, but you cannot pass down that type of stuff when it comes to those systems, because stuff dies. Stuff it becomes out of it has a ticking time. It's like it's not Father Time come for everything, especially technology. It is so fast paced and moving that I feel like the only way to keep up with this stuff is to go PC, where they actually have a history of just supporting everything that ever came out. And obviously there are some things where they had to kill off, whereas some certain softwares don't work no more. But at least there is a large majority of games that when they came out, that software could still be utilized today in this day and age. It's just a preservation thing for me. I feel like it's totally different from lens than looking at it from someone stole that piracy and or someone stole the game and kind of played it in that way. At the end of the day, I think that the services that Nintendo provides still would want me to still entices me to want to play it on their system. It's a closed in-house, very well done, well made, but the preservation of older games, like there's no reason I should be playing a Switch game on Yuzu day one. It just don't make sense because most of the time it works better on the system that it was purchased on at that time. And if that stuff is still there, that's great. I just feel like they are fighting a battle that isn't impacting them heavily, and that's what annoys me. Even with the settlement amount, 2.4 million, that this is supposed to be a multiplied of what type of damage this could have done. I don't feel like it would have done a significant amount of damage to Nintendo. I honestly don't. I feel like this is just a way for them to continue to feel like they have to fight something that will never go away. People steal. People will steal a copy of your game. People will steal a copy of your system. But emulation and preservation isn't the fight that you're looking to fight right now. You're looking to stop thieves. That ain't what this is. And that's where I kind of fall at. And I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like it's a cop out. I feel like them saying that they facilitated piracy is a cop out. I just know that they know that the Yuzu community, that the Yuzu team is probably just doing better service to their community than Nintendo could ever. Maybe if they continued on and started to create things that Nintendo could never, like some online systems and things that really work well, it probably gets scary for them. I don't know. It just feels as if the actual the usefulness of Yuzu isn't what Nintendo thinks. And I think this was silly, but I understand Yuzu being a company that's probably very small, not really or a team that's very small. They're not looking for the type of smoke that Nintendo would bring. So I get them actually shutting it down and I get them settling, but to be honest, I feel like this isn't stopping anything. Preservation will still continue. Piracy will definitely continue. I think you just made people angrier that probably weren't even thinking about it in that way. I think that it's just it's an interesting situation for sure. I'll leave it at that though. I just know in my heart of hearts that I felt like the preservation part of it was way more important than anything else. I feel like preserving the right to kind of play the games that you bought is more impactful to me because these companies just don't allow you to. Like, there's no reason to emulate Xbox because they just allow you to play the games you used to have. There's no reason to emulate PC they just let you play it. Now, is there pirates out there? Of course there are. But the reason why you're having trouble with this part of it is because you don't offer it yourself, you bum. That's what I just feel like. Nintendo's just some lazy bums, bro. I just feel like that's what they are. They just don't have the understanding or the perspective of what a consumer truly wants, and they never understand that. And I get that that's probably how they kept their afloat for a very long time, just reselling the same games. But at some point, man, you gotta like look at what you're truly doing, and is it impactful? But
They
I
just
don't
on a
know, man.
different brain frequency, bro. Like that, like it's like talking like you just speaking a different language. Something like they like we the game company. This is what we renowned from. We are the game company. We make premium products, and we still own these games, and we gonna do what we want with these games. So like all that backwards compatibility stuff, like now we just gonna repackage it and sell it. So my message might have got lost, but my biggest thing, like you said, was preservation. I like playing old Nintendo games. Like I like that. I like they new game, they older games better than they new games. I want to play them. Can I play them? No. You need Nintendo Plus or whatever they online subscription thingy. And well, can you put that game on there? Because I kind of like that game. No, you gonna play what we got on here. If you don't want to play it, then don't. If you ain't gonna want to play them, then I don't know what to tell you. Like we make premium products, bro. Please be excited. That's what I'm saying. Please be excited, bro. You just gotta
Yeah,
be excited with them.
I think that's crazy. So that is my only like um argument, and like I said, Nintendo obviously had something good on them because they waited. They obviously waited until they could find something good, and whatever it was, they had to fold, which is fine. But at the end of the day, I don't think Nintendo really going to get what they want, nor do I feel like it's going to help them in the light of a lot of consumers, a lot of people, especially when it comes to preservation, because it's a big topic. There is the piracy part, that's like just backpacking on top of that preservation. But you know that I just feel like in my heart of heart that there's so much out there right now that ain't nobody trying to play a subpar version of a game anymore. You have to understand that too. Like there's a reason for a lot of this stuff that is occurring, and Nintendo is trying their hardest to continue to provide you subpar stuff, and that's why I want to talk about the handhelds too. They provide you subpar things and say, "Hey, this we're innovative though," and I get it. I love that they're innovative. I love that the Switch was a thing. I love that they brought to the fruition a mix of their 3DS and their Nintendo Wii, and they allowed it to be this cool thing that people really enjoyed and took on the go. It was never for me to take on the go because I just felt like the battery life wasn't there and the performance wasn't there. So I just felt like it was always better to dock it and kind of get a better resolution. But when these other stuff start coming out, obviously they are only iterations of what originally was created by them, and I enjoy that. But um, that's what feeds innovation. Like that's just so crazy to me. I just don't. I get it, but I don't get it at the same time. Nintendo is very. I don't know. I just feel like they just do a lot of weird stuff, and we gotta deal with it. I
Yeah,
mean, they do
yeah.
make good games. I ain't gonna lie. So they sometimes you gotta deal with stupid stuff. So when they come along with people that actually can innovate the genre, but it's weird, very weird. But go
Yeah,
ahead.
I got basically two feelings on, or two things. I agree with everything I said. Like, don't forget that Nintendo is the company that will shut down the previous console online like 2 years after it's done. Like,
Yep.
Since April of last year, the Wii U and the 3DS eShop is gone. So you can't buy anything off the eShop or for the Wii U or the 3DS. And it's like that's literally like cutting off service to customers who could possibly still want those games, and there's no other way to get a lot of those games, especially digital only games,
Yep.
on any other system. So, And I mean, those are older consoles, but like that's like your previous generation. Whereas like Xbox, like they shut down the original Xbox in 360 maybe not too long ago, but they at least made big efforts to bring most of those games forward if they could before they shut it down.
Yeah, the
And
hitters, the heavy hitters ones, of course, and like most of that stuff was licensing and things like that. And I'm pretty sure
yeah, if they
now,
couldn't do it, they at least
today,
tried.
the
Hmm.
licensing probably is totally different than how it used to be. I'm pretty sure they are inking in those deals early on for preservation. I can almost assure it that they don't want to deal with the type of stuff that licensing is expiring. Like Spec Ops The Line recently. Like I'm pretty sure that stuff is changing as we speak.
Yeah.
Like when they make new games. That's what I'm simply talking about.
But I think one point y'all was both making, but it said very good by the Gabe Newell, the CEO of Steam.
Hmm.
The easiest way to stop piracy is not putting anti-piracy technology to work. It's giving those people a service that's better than what they receive from the pirates.
Yeah.
And that's
They
100% true.
competitors.
If I can get the best version of Tears of the Kingdom directly from Nintendo, then I'll do it. It's the easiest. It's the you know, could keep a library that's built together. But instead, if it's not the best version, the game runs weird, and there's a better version somewhere else, then people are gonna be interested in going somewhere else.
Yeah. Facts. So and that's why I said Xbox is probably in the lead when it comes to preservation and like stopping piracy because there is no reason where you can buy one game, play it two different places. You can do cloud stream like streaming it. You can do cloud saves. You can do so much stuff with their games. There is never a reason for me to not want to pay them because it just doesn't make sense. They do the most for
Yeah,
you. So that is what I'm saying when it comes to, and I'm glad you said that because that's literally what I'm trying to say is that if these things are on platforms that really want it to add value to the consumer, there will be no reason to pirate it because there's just so much value there. And that's why I'll always be like, I'd rather buy it on an Xbox. I'd rather buy it on my PC or on an Xbox because I know I'm play it, be able to play it two places. Now, obviously, that's only for certain games and with their Game Pass stuff. But there's a lot of value in just Game Pass alone and allowing these services and stuff like this to happen. And I would like that to happen in elsewhere because at the end of the day, we're going towards a more digital future. We're going towards more of a place where you don't own your games outright, but I want to know that these games will continue on throughout generations. And if it's trying to bring you a license where not only do you have it on this hardware, but you also have it on this PC that continues to expand and grow and never really feels as if you're going to lose it. I'm so more comfortable because of that bridge that's being, you know, that bridge and that gap versus not with the other ones. It's just not happening on the PlayStation. It's not happening on Nintendo. And I think that's a lot of the reason why um you just feel a little bit, you know, uncertain about the future of how they're going to keep operating. I think Nintendo has such a great way of spending less and earning more that they probably will be in here for a while. But
yeah,
not
they
Sony,
they
not
found a
Sony.
business that works. One
Yeah.
other thing I was gonna say about the user situation is that so piracy is at this in most places and illegal. Not piracy. Emulation is in most places legal, but there's a lot of gray area because there hasn't been a lot of big lawsuits to create precedent on it.
Mm,
And like the last one in the 90s, it actually came in favor of the consumer, and so that's why emulation is kind of where it is now because last time big companies tried to go after it, they lost. Um, Whereas this user situation, a lot of people are saying that the reason that they folded is because they didn't want to take it to court because they were probably uh,
guilty or
they
something.
had a good chance of losing. Yeah, they got caught red-handed,
Yeah.
red-handed doing something that they shouldn't be doing. And so at this point, it's speculation, but two things: the dollar amount, the 2.4 or 2.9 a million, is a dollar amount to cover the legal fees, whatever. But also, that's
They came out with
kind of
nothing.
what is speculated. Of how much they've made on their Patreon over the years.
Oh.
Um, and maybe it's a little more, maybe it's a little less, but that's the amount that they settled to like wash their hands of it. But one of the things that people are speculating on why Nintendo went after them now is because of the Tears of the Kingdom launch situation. Yuzu, for the longest time, they, we're against piracy. We don't support piracy. We put these measures in place to, make sure there's no piracy. But when Tears of the Kingdom came out, it leaked like a week early, and Yuzu released their early access Yuzu build to play the game. And if you think about it, that early access build that they sold to customers was only available to play a pirated game. Like there was no version to buy the game. So that situation is the maybe gray area, but that's the area where if Yuzu took that to court, they might have a hard time defending it. So it's probably better to walk away.
Gotcha. Yeah. And like I said, I'm not saying that they were innocent. I'm saying that emulation is truly
Yeah,
the
emulation suffered,
yeah.
especially because they also worked on Citra, which is the DS emulator,
Yeah.
and the 3DS store shut down recently, but DS games have been worse, like way worse for a long time. Um, yeah, so DS and 3DS emulation suffers now because that also is getting shut down.
Hmm.
And those games, a lot of them are not available for sale digitally, and you better hope you can find a physical version that's not resold for hundreds of dollars. So, and it still works because those old
Yeah.
cartridges might not work.
And on top of that, you got to make sure you don't get it's like an authentic cartridge and not somebody ripped it and put it on a cart and then sold you the cart. You know what I'm
Oh yeah, fake cartridges. Yeah.
saying? Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing. That's a thing.
People be making fake carts like them up, bro, and selling them. Like people be on these forums talking about, yeah, I just bought Radical Red from somebody for
Because
$20. You like what?
Nintendo, uh, Nintendo has built a whole piracy network based off of the things that they don't do.
No, I know. And that's why I sit there and I think like you there is truly like it's like they just don't get that they do this to themselves, you know? Like this is this isn't something that is is impacting a multitude of people. This isn't something that's impacting a lot of properties, a lot of companies. It is piracy is a thing. I just think that this emulation game is truly out of necessity. It's built off of necessity, not off of want. Like nobody wants to work for free to create these things, but what we do know is that if you're not going to do something, we got to take it in matters into our own hands, and that is generally how these things come about. There is nobody getting paid to make it. There's nobody getting paid to do these things. It is literally just support from the community that you could harness yourself if you did the right thing. That's it, and it's crazy to me. Uh,
Yeah,
but
just do more to make customers happy. Nintendo.
absolutely, that's all you got to do. That's it. Um,
Like I would love buying games on Steam because I'm happy about it. And if I don't like the game, refund it.
yeah,
And that's it. It's a
yeah,
2-step process. Buy the game, I love it. Don't like the game, refund it. Yeah, I'm
yeah.
done. And Nintendo it's a whole like 50-step process of like, is this the best version of the game? Is it is this as good as the old version? Like, am I going to play the new Super Mario and
Yeah,
it's worse than the old?
Yeah,
but then
it's
I'm stuck with this game.
bro, it's so much stuff, dude. Is the peripheral still good? Do you still have the compatibility? It's like it's so many little like nuances to technology throughout the
Like
years, and I love that into a degree. Like I love the unique changes that the Nintendo has went through. It just feels like they are the weird ones, right? And I don't want them to go away at all. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I want them to do better with the stuff that they create and how they support it in the future. An IR blaster isn't hard to continue on with. Like even going back to the GameCube and things like that, I just feel like there's so much value in their backlog that they just don't care about. And they feel like what they're gonna do is like they're setting up the next generation of Nintendo to just bring all that stuff back when everybody's dead and don't remember what this stuff was. They just gonna do it like it's new. That's all I can think of. Like this is their thought process to me.
I
Um
mean, yeah, look at all the games or half the Nintendo games that came out in the Game Boy era, all that type of stuff. These is NES games, SNES games. Like I'm over here thinking, oh, this game new. Like, man, you see this new Mario? I'm wondering why they call it Super Mario World Super Advanced 2. That game came out on the NES or the SNES. I just ain't know it. I wasn't
yeah.
aware enough to know what they doing. And I mean, but I think it's just like a nationality type thing, like a tradition. Because I mean, Xbox don't repackage games, man. It be PlayStation and Nintendo does really be doing it the most, and they be like, hey, man. Hey, this premium product, bro. I mean, I know you paid $30 10 years ago, but you might as well pay 50 today. Like what
What
you
you
want to
gonna
what,
do?
what you want to do, man? You trying to go to the train, take the bus to the train, or the train to the bus, my boy? Come get this game. Come on, come get
Yeah.
this game.
Oh
That's
my
what they
god.
be on.
Dog. It do be wild for sure. But let's move on because we are at the whole hour and 16 mark and we got like a couple things to go through. Warner Brothers wants to focus on live service games instead of one and done titles like Hogwarts Legacy. That game sold more units than any other game, talking about beating Call of Duty. And they want to focus on Suicide Squad. Oh my goodness. I think these are individuals that really don't understand the market. It's never about you putting too much money into a game. It's about what you deliver at the end of it. And I don't even want them to do that anymore. I don't want them like to make super triple A games. They can make double A games, 3 double A games. Put your eggs in multiple baskets. Don't just put it all in one. Maybe you will find results in one of them and learn from the rest. Like you don't have to do the big budget. And if you're going to do the big budget, make sure the person that you're giving that big budget to has our track record of delivering, and don't give them something that they don't want to do. I can tell you right now that Suicide Squad game was a top down, not artistic up. That is not what artistic up looks like. That is not where someone at the helm of that was an artist. The helm of that was a committee saying what people want to see and what we should have in our game. And that is why you got Suicide Squad. You know why you got Batman Arkham Asylum? Is because that was artists up. People were in favor of making a great Batman game, and they wanted to show that and bring that to fruition. And when you deliver on something, you get the audience's attention. You don't keep it. You don't keep it by um, by delivering poor results. Like it is simple, man. Like you guys, I just don't get it. I understand that Arkham was not City. Arkham Knight probably didn't deliver the way they wanted it to deliver. And that's probably because of the poor performance at launch. But that's not to say that Rocksteady didn't do their thing. I just feel like that game still, to this day, is still probably one of the better looking games to be out there on the market in regards to physics, technicality. I'm talking about everything. Like that game
Pretty
probably
much
still sits
everything in that
above a
game,
lot.
everything in that game, like particles and maybe not the characters, but like that looks way better than well, I know I said Gotham Knights, but Arkham Knight looks amazing. Like you play it on PC, that game looks amazing.
Yeah,
It's big. It runs well.
yeah.
And like the rain and everything is wet and all the textures, like it looks great.
No, I
So
know. I played on this. I played on my Legion Go. Like there's a reason why I still put that game on systems, and obviously preservation, Steam. I love it. I buy it on there. I keep it on there. I bought it. Now I have it forever. So there is reasons why we still go back to those games like that because they are impactful. They made a stamp on the community, and it's solidified. That's why Rocksteady has so much weight behind what they're bringing next because they are solidified in the gaming community as a top notch developer. But then you give them not a passion project, you give them numbers, you give them a committee, and there was a lot of writing on the walls. Even if with all the polish in the world, Rocksteady couldn't deliver a live service game in the way that you guys wanted, and now you want to continue to do that. I really don't get it. I really don't.
yeah, I'm a just be real and say it that I think Warner Brothers is cooked. The video
Yeah.
game division and the company as a whole, because they Warner Brothers has been trash as a company for like a long time, and they've only been getting worse. Like they keep um messing up their live service content. They keep reselling it, renaming it, repackaging it. They that movie that people wanted to see that they're just deleting the not Looney Tunes. What is it called? Acne.
Oh. Oh yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I forget his
yeah,
name.
like
Roadrunner and I forget the name.
Roadrunner versus
Wile Coyote and
Wile
Roadrunner.
Coyote. Yeah,
Yeah.
that movie that they said they're gonna delete it as a tax write off, and the people was like, "Oh, we want to buy it," and it was like, "Oh, you want to buy it? Okay, we want $100 million." Like y'all crazy. uh,
Wow.
and now they was like, "Okay, nobody getting it. We're just gonna delete it." It's like it's a movie people want to see. You can make some money off of it. You've already made it. It's finished, but you just want to delete it as a tax write off. Because the people running that company are investors who don't care about what they're making. They just want the dollar. And so the video games, the same thing. I'm pretty sure a lot of people talented worked on Suicide Squad. But like you said, the reason that the game was made and any future that the game has is just going to be based on what the investors want. And it's not looking good for Suicide Squad. So whenever they next quarterly ends, Rocksteady people, watch out. I hope y'all got a backup
Backup
plan.
plan.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
And the
it's sad
movies
to
is
say, but
is
it's the
also the
truth.
same. I hope James Gunn can do it, but I don't think that anybody at Warner Brothers cares about the movies
Make,
being good. It just
yeah, they don't care.
make some money.
You saw Aquaman. Jeez. Bro, we watched the first
And
10 minutes of that and we was like, what the heck is happening? What is this? And I
and
was
that came
like,
out after Flash too.
Jesus. So much terrible CGI. So many. I'm like, why y'all trying to make him so? I don't know. It was so weird, dude. It was a bad movie. And I only watched 10 minutes. I ain't gonna lie. So I can't say the whole movie was bad, but I can say that 10 minutes was awful. I was
Yep.
like, that junk was seared in my brain, bro. It was so bad. Like the chains on his brother, him sitting at the throne, his crown falling off. I said, man, what is this? It was so stupid and chaotic. It was like a worse Thor Love and Thunder. And I didn't like Love and Thunder, I ain't gonna lie, but it wasn't as bad as that. Love and Thunder just had its moments. It didn't have the spark that the first one had, or Ragnarok. Ragnarok was good. But yeah, we can talk about bad movies going being better all day, but they doubling down on free to play and mobile. I say y'all
Yeah.
crazy. But
They had a hit with Hogwarts, and
yeah,
they monetized it more, and so now they're trying to
figure out a way
course
to
correct.
they trying to figure out a way to put Hogwarts Legacy into this live service, and they don't cook that too. Ain't gonna be no good Hogwarts Legacy 2. It's gonna be Hogwarts Legacy World. You're gonna be able to sign
Oh
in. You're
my.
gonna be able to be a Harry Potter man for the rest of your life. Microtransactions, and it's gonna miss half the heart it had in the beginning. Like the reason why I like the game is simply because of the passion behind it. It wasn't the game was great. It was that the passion behind it showed through significantly, and they can reiterate on top of it to make the next game much better. But the passion was what caught my eye, not the game itself. Like everybody kind of played it and felt the same way. And it's a mid game, but the passion behind the game and the realization of the world of Hogwarts, and of the world of Harry Potter is what's important to us. Like that's what we truly loved, right? And this for you to take that away and say, well, these mechanics they loved, and this world could be nice, but maybe you gotta buy you gotta buy this in order for you to kind of level up. Maybe you gotta do this in order to level up, and this is what's gonna keep them coming back. All you're gonna do is just make another Avengers or another whatever, basic Suicide Squad, because nobody's gonna care about what you did because there's no passion in it. There's literally you just made a game and tried to sell us microtransactions, and then you're gonna have to tell us over and over again how these microtransactions are simply cosmetic, but we don't care because at that point we don't feel like there's passion in this project. So I just feel like they don't get it. They don't get what they're gonna lose when they do this, and that's fine because it's Warner Brothers. I guess it's just another one of our beloved companies that we used to like. I'm so sick of people just going out of business because of stupid moves. It's just so annoying to me. I really I get it that people just like, oh, these just are companies, but I grew up watching Warner Brothers stuff. I don't want them to lose. Why would y'all want them to lose? I don't want nobody to lose. I just think that they make stupid decisions.
And what's up, Doc? That's what they.
I just think they make stupid decisions. That's it. I'm not. It's no brand loyalty. It's just that I grew up with this people, and I grew up with this company, and I grew up with them making things I really loved, and now I gotta watch them do stupid stuff over and over again. And obviously, this isn't just in their gaming sector. This is all over. So I can see if it was just a sacrificial lamb, but it's not that. It's like the whole thing is just terrible. So I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's crazy to me. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Um, but yeah, the dollars talk, man. Dollars, dollars, dollar bills, dollar bills. Um, but what else? What else? What else? What else? Outside of that, I kind of wanted to touch on No Rest for the Wicked, but I think I'm the only one that kind of know about that enough. But it's basically Moon Studios' new game. They look like they put a lot of effort into it. It's a Souls like. I feel like people are going to enjoy the game. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm trying to get into the early access. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I really don't got much else to say on it. It's a action roguelike. No, it's not roguelike. It's an RPG. Kind of in a similar ilk of like a Dark Souls. A really cool map design. I really like how they have like this open world, top down map design. Very vertical esque. Reminds me of Diablo, but in a much better way. In regards to just verticality. I think the world itself looks very creative. If you haven't, go check it out. They have like a 25-minute video up talking about their combat, talking about the world, talking about what they've been doing with it, the boss fights and all that good jazz. I think it definitely looks like an exciting time to be in that AA space. And there's a lot of great games right now in double A space, man. It's almost cooking the triple A space for real. Like I can count on my hand the amount of like really good double A's in the last couple of years. Like really, really good. Um, but not, I think there's even more to be said about those double A's. But I'm not gonna talk about that right now. But what I did want to talk about with y'all, um, and I don't want to just jump off no rest of the wicked. I think it deserves a lot more time. But what I will say is go check it out because it's a 25-minute video actually showcasing the game, showing you what it does, and showing you the combat really and like the differences and the variations and the styles that you can play with. They have mages, of course. You can magic. You can do swords. It's basically like I said. It's kind of like Dark Souls, but in Moon Studios' own way. I think when they did Ori and the Blind Forest, it came out left field, and it's probably one of the greater Metroidvanias that came out. So I think they do really good work. So I think you should definitely check it out. I did want to talk to y'all about the game of the generation for this consoles. Something. What was I watching? Oh, I was watching. What's his name? Ryan McCaffrey. I think he was watching Podcast Unlocked. He was talking about game of the generation, but he had stipulations where it had to be on the Xbox Series X alone or the PS5 alone. It couldn't be like back cross gen. I feel like cross gen is dead. I mean, I feel like consoles, singular consoles are dead. It's like we're gonna always have cross generation stuff for a very long time, and there's really not much you can do about it because you're always going to want to have a bigger player base, and I think it's just going to be smarter for these companies to continue to do so to be able to create big and bad games. But game of the generation for y'all right now, like from 2020 to 2024, what have you played that stood out to you the most?
I think for me it'll be hard to fit within that stipulation because I feel like most of the good games that I've played are cross-gen.
Yeah, I wouldn't
And the
want to do
ones
that. I feel like that's too much. I feel like you should just pick a game. I
yeah,
don't really care because it's just not gonna work. But if you can try, but if not, I just take one that you really enjoyed that was on both.
mm, since 2020.
Since 2020. It's come out of left field, so I can go first and give y'all some time.
Okay.
For me, most impactful game I've played would nope, it's not that because that came out. I don't want to just give it to
Start of a
Elden Ring. I think
pandemic.
it's easy. I think Elden Ring is just too easy. I think the most impactful for me at this point was God of War Ragnarok. And I say it for a multitude of reasons. I was emotionally invested in God of War, and I guess it came out early on, but at the end of the day, a good game is a good game. Ain't really gonna change that. I feel like that's the only game that has provided a story so like worthy of the title God of War to me. It kind of signified that the PlayStation was the place to be for the time when it came out. Plays PS5 anyway. So it helped start the generation off in the right way. So I will give it the nod over Elden Ring. I think Elden Ring was so came out of left field. I did not play it immediately. It took me a long time to get around to playing that game. So I lost a lot of the moment of that. And when I got around to it, I really enjoyed it. But I just enjoy farming, man. I ain't gonna lie. I love the fun of just being overpowered and killing something. I don't know what it is, but it's
Are you
it's
different? I
it's
mean,
it sounds pretty crazy saying it out loud, but it's just more so I enjoy that type of style of gameplay where I can put time in and be truly rewarded, and it's shown in the game. You know, like you put time into a lot of games sometimes, and sometimes you don't really see the value of that time. But it's like a one-to-one feeling of going from powerless to overpowered, and it feels great. And I don't know, maybe y'all got that same feeling. I know I feel it when I play the game. I'm like,
nah, I'll be wondering why you doing that. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'll be like, man, he back at it.
I'm back at it. Yeah, no, I'm crazy. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
something I
it
really
makes sense.
enjoy. I really enjoy the experience and seeing myself grow even stronger and pushing how far I can be as how far I can go, because I was cosplaying Havel or Havel. What's his name? Havel. What's
Whatever you want to call it.
I don't remember his name. I think his name
They
is
ain't never
Havel.
verbalized if it's Hable or Happle. But people say, well,
Oh well, yeah. I mean, I was like, let me just stack my strength so I can wear all his armor and still mid roll. Like stupid stuff like that. But they let me do it. So give me the freedom and let me do the stupid stuff I want to do. That's all. So I appreciate all types of games like that, but um I think God of War was just so significant in regards to the storyline, and I'm just ready to see what happens next, and enjoying what they built, especially where it came from. It's such a significant change, and gameplay was solid. A lot of good upgrades to the gameplay. I don't even know, and everything like that. So, if you haven't, that would be on top of my list, Josh. But no, you play what you want to play. But yeah, that would be my game of generation. Um,
No, yeah. I was just gonna say quickly, I like Elden Ring, and I agree with a lot of those points. It would be in my top 5 of the generation, but I was trying to figure out which one would be my number 1.
mhm.
And I feel like I haven't played enough of the most recent, like, really good ones, so mine is older.
Oh,
Um, Elden Ring and Armored Core are probably the most fun as far as like mechanically fun video game as video games.
yeah,
But as far as like story, the high point so far is still Cyberpunk. I know that
nice.
God of War does a lot of really good stuff with story and directing as well, but
Mhm.
Cyberpunk takes it in a different direction, and I think you get very close to a lot of characters, both with like how the camera is directed, but also like the amount of time that you spend with them, and them doing it in an open world that I actually enjoy um, so far. So that is the highlight where it hasn't been topped in those two aspects yet for me. There might be a game that's more fun to play, like Elden Ring, but Cyberpunk so far has been the standout experience that was just, you know, came right out the gate, hit me hard,
Yeah,
and it's stuck with me the whole time.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so and that was at the beginning of the generation, so yeah.
At the very beginning, you're right.
And
No,
still graphically, it's still doing like a lot of games like Alan Wake look good as well, but uh, no game has been that big and look as good, and it's still getting better. So yeah.
yeah. No, that's a good pick for sure, for sure. If I could have counted Phantom literally, I would have did that because I feel like that is the launch you want, where
Hmm.
everything works right, everything been reworked. The story was amazing. It still sits with me with that with what happened at the end if you choose certain things. Like both situations were great. One was better than the other. I ain't gonna lie, but play that and yeah,
Hmm.
it just like they just keep getting better. That's all I'm saying. I would definitely would have threw that in there as best DLC of the generation right now for me, but I couldn't give it to Cyberpunk simply because of how it launched. But yeah, I agree that it was super, super, super impactful at the time when I played it, and I'll leave it at that. I'm glad that's a good pick though. What about you, Jalen? What you been playing this generation since 2020? All these games that came out.
Shoot.
Don't say
Man.
Persona 5 Royal. That man was, what was it? Doom, 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 doom.
Doom, 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 doom. Do. Not just one. Dang, games. I mean, y'all know I've been heartbroken with these games and stuff, and I ain't been buying them like I used to.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think one of the games that let me just think about it. I enjoy Elden Ring. Do Final Fantasy remake count?
It no, it came out in 20. It came out on the PS4.
Well, I mean,
20.
yeah, it came out, I think, before 2020.
Yeah, it came out before
It
2020.
came out April. It came out April 2020, right? During
But
the start of the pandemic.
the consoles came out November 2020.
Oh, you mean just for strictly the console?
It had to be on the PS5 too. It couldn't just start on the PS4 and then get ported to the PS5. It had to at least launch day and date on the PS5 and the Xbox Series or the PS4. So as long as it fits that bill of, that's why I'm saying generation, because it just had to be on these generation of consoles, not just be on, but like at least start or have the same day and date as the PS4 launch version. So that wouldn't count, unfortunately. I'm talking about things that define this generation, and that would define the last ending. Like Last of Us Part 2 would be defining the ending tale of the PS4 generation. So.
Shoot. I'm trying to think. Probably, I low-key ain't even played that many games on the generation, so I'll probably just say Elden Ring.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I think out of all my Xbox One games, I think that's probably the only game that I actually bought. Besides the free-to-play games. I guess I technically got Call of Duty, but those don't count. Final Fantasy 16, trash. Sonic Frontiers, do that count? It don't matter. It ain't that good. I mean, it's good, but it don't.
It counts, but it's up to you on whether or not you want it there.
Sonic Frontiers is a PS4 game.
It came out in 2021 or 22, right? So it counts.
Yeah,
it came out in 2021.
Yeah, I just say Elden Ring, man. I mean, they did a good job with that game. I mean, they still got some of the the things I don't like about Dark Souls, but maybe it's just they took all the stuff from the good stuff or a lot of stuff from Dark Souls and just revamped it and put it back in there, like all the Soulsborne series and stuff. So it's really Dark Souls All Stars or Soulsborne All Star. But I mean, it's still a solid game. The time I was playing, I definitely enjoyed it. I would go back and play it. It's just the world just too big and not linear enough for me. So it's like I need a guide when I'm playing it because I'm not finna just be sitting there looking up stuff. So.
No, that makes sense.
But that's a good thing though. Like that's a good thing. If I had the time, I could really put time into it. I know people put hundreds of hours in that game and they love it and stuff, but y'all know how I am with game length.
No. We know how you is, Dream. I mean, but yeah, that is still a great pick as well. I mean, I think from our perspective, I think there's a lot of great games on the horizon. But as of now, generation stamping, it's gotta still go to like God of War. It's gotta go to Elden Ring. It's gotta go to CD Projekt Red's. And then, what's going to really, GTA 6 is probably going to be the next big one, So, we'll see. I definitely think that that GTA 6 has the potential to define a generation and like be the one that everybody looks back on this generation and be like, yeah, that's the one. I mean, but they always come out with one. I mean, obviously, I take that back. GTA never had a entry into the PS4 generation, right? Or am I tripping?
Not an original, just Red Dead 2.
Yeah, they had Red Dead Redemption 2 and the Xbox 360 got GTA 5. So now we're back at GTA 6 and yeah, so it'd be interesting. It'd definitely be interesting. Um, but yeah, okay, okay. That's pretty much all I had. I really didn't have much else. I think the other topics, I think that was it. Outside of Forbidden West, Horizon, PC settings actually looking pretty decent. I mean, you're probably going to need like a large, SSD, 150 gigs. These games just keep getting bigger and bigger. But minimum specs, you can get away with a NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1650 or AMD Radeon RX 5500 XT 4 gig. That's crazy to me. I didn't think you could do that. But it's 7020p at 30 FPS. Recommended. You can get away with just a 3060, making the 3090, 3080 viable for some higher frame gameplay and at better resolutions. And it doesn't mention any like type of upsampling here, which is kind of interesting. But they don't have any upsampling mentioned. The highest end, I'm sitting comfortably past it, which is nice, but I'm not gonna play this game on here. I would like to see it because Gorilla just, man, hooey. It's like it is a treat for the eyes, and being able to run that game without any upsampling and at 60 FPS, boy. I'm just playing, but yeah, I think it'd be looking nice, but I ain't got no need to play that game on here, and if it's not on deep discount, like $15, no thank you. But once it is, I'll own another copy. That's how you fight. That's how you fight piracy. You just put it on everything. But we'll get to that later. But yeah, I mean I really didn't have much to say on the Horizon Forbidden West stuff. I just thought that it showed to me at least that these higher tier games on this system, they don't necessarily need the latest and greatest to have a good experience based upon what I'm seeing here. And it shows that optimization is key. The engine that these games are running on is key. Obviously, AI and stuff like that is going to continue to push um, the limits of what these consoles, what these handhelds, and what everything can do. But oh, that's what I was supposed to talk about. Shoot, I'll be tripping. My handheld experience. Um, I have a reason on why I think PC handhelds and handhelds all around are becoming more popular. Do y'all have any opinions on why these would be popular today?
Um, well, one, I think there's a lot of people like me who enjoy just being able to play it wherever you want on the go. Like these are big
Mm-hmm.
games like Final Fantasy, not being tied to my TV to be able to play it is a great benefit.
Mm-hmm.
And there's kind of really not a whole there hasn't been a whole lot of competition from first party like companies making handhelds. Like there's Nintendo, but you can't play 90% of games on your Nintendo console.
Mm-mm.
Microsoft doesn't do it, and Sony is not making a handheld. So it's kind of been like a dead space for a while, but a lot of big market. So now that Steam has kind of set the standard for like what's to be expected of a quality handheld, a lot of companies are using that as like a target, either to
Mm-hmm.
be cheaper and a little weaker, or go really high end. But it's being compared to the Steam Deck, which is makes it good because there's always been like handheld tablets and stuff like that, but they always like work weird and have some issues. But I think the Steam Deck really paved the way to show both consumers and companies what people want.
Yeah. What about you, Jalen? Why do you think they so popular now? Or why did you buy one? That's crazy, because that is a key point. You bought one, and you don't buy much. So why did you buy one?
Why you have to just say it like that?
Because that's what it is. The truth. If I'm lying, I'm flying, but I ain't flying. So I ain't lying.
To
It's
be
the
fair,
truth.
yeah, I do buy stuff. As I tell them over and over and over, that
And
I
about
need to see
shoes.
the value in
It's the
something, man.
shoes.
It has to have
Yeah,
value. My
you spike it
value
up.
of $1 for Josh and Deontay is completely different, man. I need to understand what am I getting. I ain't
Everyone
just
needs to
doing
be
it
able
on
to wear it.
impulse.
All right,
And,
my bad. I
and,
should say
and impulse
Jalen
is not a
is
thing for me.
very particular on what he's purchasing. So what made you? Because he ain't, don't get it twisted. He ain't cheap. let me boost my man. But
I'm
he
for sure cheap. I'm frugal. I'm cheap. I don't see the value in that. People, you want to know? Nah. But anyway, what
go
reason I
ahead, man.
bought a Steam Deck is because, you know, 100%. I mean, $400 for emulation of full titles and stuff like that. Like Josh said, playing on the go. Like you can play these sorts of games. I can play Overwatch on here. I can play. It ain't just emulation. It's like how strong this thing actually is, and I can actually play these games on here on the go. Like I ain't got to play no light version of the game. Like if you play Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep or Grand Theft Auto on the PSP, or that you get light versions of a full game, and when you get older, you realize they just like, damn, they give me a toned down miniature version that's not fully complete, and you understand that. But when you get a device like the Steam Deck, I'm like, oh, I can really play this game, and you know what I'm saying, you really find like you can find like some enjoyment in that. Yeah, so I mean, like you said, like the emulation aspect, that's cool. The full-fledged out like titles, and I can preserve my games. You heard that? What's that P
Sir,
word? Preservation?
can you not? Can you hear me out there? Preserve. Once I got my.
Preserve. Why am I playing Beautiful Joe, man? I love Beautiful Joe. Why ain't they never bring back Beautiful Joe? Why ain't they bring him back? It's cool. I'm gonna bring him back then. How about that? Like it's straight like that, literally.
No,
Why I still ain't got a version of Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal? Okay, all right. I'm gonna get that.
yeah, no. It's definitely that. But I guess my key takeaway is that we're all getting older, and we want our games to meet us where we're at. We got kids, people are parents. The generation that grew up with these games are now in their upper 20s, late not late but mid 30s. So it's like it's a culmination of like three things. It's like people getting older, people want their games to be where they are, and the time. It's like it takes so much effort to have a multitude of things everywhere. It takes a ton of effort, and it's just not efficient to have to deal with a multitude of things to be able to run and enjoy a gaming experience. So I think PC handhelds in general have seen the success simply because we are mobile creatures. We do not have the ability to sit in the space anymore and play. Like the people that have money are buying these handhelds. The people that are currently in a space now where they used to be able to sit down, play a game. You know, you only had a certain amount of games to play. You only could afford to play a certain amount of games, and that was your fun and enjoyment. Now it's more so it's taxing to try to sit down and play a game. So you have to meet us where we're at, and where we're at now is not sitting in front of a computer, not sitting in front of a TV. We are mobile and we are moving, and we have to be able to channel that into something that will allow us to continue to game in a way that we want, because there is literally options to be able to. I mean, there's decisions you make. The decisions that I make are always geared towards more so the children, right? And it's not geared towards myself. But this little device here provides me an experience. Like we all know that you have to sacrifice certain things when you have children, but it's also when you have to sacrifice things when you have relationships, when you have a job. It's plenty of things you have to sacrifice, and if there is nothing there that will allow you to continue in a space in a way that makes sense, obviously you make adjustments. You don't play multiplayer games often. You ain't getting online live services. You're not doing certain things because you have to make sacrifices in certain things. And I think this handheld, it just provided me a more productive way to continue on with my hobby and my lifestyle at the same time. And that's really why I feel like these things have become super, super popular, because we all old, man. I just that's how I feel. I feel like we are now at a stage where sitting down to play a game for longer than 2 hours, it ain't happening. And if it is happening, you're very lucky, and you made the conscious decision to do that. But most of the time you're interrupted. Most of the time you have to sit that down. You have to not take up the entire living room and try to experience something. You are, you're doing things. And I think that being able to take this on the go and have that downtime be utilized, that you're not engaged in a conversation and you're not doing something important, that downtime in between is not like, oh, let me take this 15 minutes and run upstairs, turn on my system, start to boot the game up, get my controller, sit down. Oh, 15 minutes later, I got to go back down. It's like that system has provided a way for me to bridge that gap during those downtimes. And I think it's all about efficiency. I took it for granted with the Switch. I ain't gonna lie, because I didn't play none of their games. They sucked. Not all of them, but the ones that I wanted to play, I beat, and I was done. It was like very quick. It wasn't like the library. I'm not saying that the Switch game sucked. I'm saying that the services around it sucked. It just wasn't there to incentivize me to continue to want to build into this ecosystem. None of it. It never does. Every time I buy a Wii or a Switch or whatever, I play it for the games I want, and it sits and collects dust for the most of the time. This right here can't. It just can't. It's too varied. It's too useful. And how do you beat? How do you beat? What do you say? How do you beat it? How do you stay relevant? You just become useful. I just feel like that is what this handheld has created itself to be, is useful. It's kind of similar to a cell phone. I think it has the usefulness to it that can't be understated and can't be denied at this point. There's a lot of things that create it, that make it useful. So it is not a holistic experience as one may think. Because there is a lot of things being driven by the community, but at some point, someone's going to get the bright idea that there is a untapped potential in unifying one's digital library, regardless of what it is. There is a unification. There is a actual value within that to be able to carry that experience everywhere you go and not be tied to your mobile device that has become it has moved out of entertainment into necessity for me. I do not get entertained by my phone as much as I used to. It is out of necessity that I hold that thing for GPS, for phone calls, for texting, to stay in touch. It's falling out the entertainment aspect. I think there's a large gap there. But what do you provide someone for entertainment as they're moving and going and hustling and bustling? And I think that is what is gravitating people towards these handhelds. It's simply for the entertainment aspects. Like, you don't need it, but it's there, and when it's there, it's useful. So I'll leave it at that. I just wanted to mention why I got another handheld. I know it sounded a little ridiculous, but the usefulness behind it, the use case behind mine makes so much sense. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Any last thoughts before we get up out of here at all?
You got the Legion Go, right?
I did get the Legion Go.
How big is that thing?
It's like 8 point something, 8.6 inches. It's a pretty big one. It's in the same it's the length of it is the same as a Steam Deck OLED or Steam Deck, but
Okay.
it's just taller.
Oh, okay, taller.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. No, I didn't have any other questions because, like, yeah, I also been looking at another handheld.
Mm-hmm.
This is devices that have a dedicated um purpose, like, and that is good at is always attractive, better than, like you said, kind of a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
But like phones do, where they got to do everything. So
Yeah.
I'm still looking at the handheld market. Personally, I wanted something smaller, but also looking at something bigger to be able to do the things that Steam Deck can't is also something I'm interested in. But I'm just happy that the handheld market is kind of growing quickly. Like the Steam Deck is what, like 3 years old.
Yep.
And yeah, in the next 2 or 3 years, we gonna have much better devices. So that's always good. So yeah.
For sure. No, it's like I said, it is very valuable space. It's a very valuable thing for me, and I think that the more that people use them and see that, it's going to just continue to grow, and then they're going to get more refined. This is like the first iterations of all these companies. This is Lenovo's first one, and for them to be able to do the unique things that they did with it, it tells me that they have so much more room to grow. You know. Um, and I'm looking forward to it, of course. Uh, and the drivers are getting updated regularly. It is becoming a lot less cumbersome to utilize. Um, there's value in it for sure. Like it's basically like a laptop, but it's dedicated for, and it provides you an experience that like no other because it does that plus more. So once they can do the once they can reiterate on it to the point where it has that capability like the Steam Deck, like it can be like a desktop, but the GUI, the front end is so refined and perfected that you don't even experience that if you don't want to. It's really where it will shine and grow. And whoever creates that is going to have a great time. Like Play Night is at the lead right now for me when it comes to GUIs. That is pushing the envelope on bringing everything together. My Xbox stuff, my Epic stuff, my everything is there. Emulation, everything. So they are the front runner right now. Steam has that capability. It's just right now it just doesn't feel as all inclusive as this other one. So there's opportunities for everything to grow. And I think Steam is going to get better. I think these other companies, third party systems, are going to get better. I think these manufacturers of these devices are going to get better. And we're going to truly have some cool things in the near future for sure. So, but okay. All right, I'm gonna leave it at that. We are at the 2 hour mark, which is crazy. I didn't think this was gonna be a long episode. I'm gonna go take a nap, and then yeah. But that's pretty much it. I want to thank you guys for listening. If you got to this part, you're the real OG. I really appreciate you for listening to us talk about nothing for 2 hours. If you got here, so thank you. But yeah, we'll see you guys next time. And until then, play some games, enjoy yourselves, and enjoy the company you're around. Peace.